What's going on, traders? How we doing this morning? Well, let's see what we got here. Don't be cheap. Invest in yourself. How's everybody doing here this morning? Actually on time for once. What? Both kids are in school. Didn't have the best drop off today. A little sad. But they're not all going to be perfect. Not really seeing too much. I did have one earlier. Let me see if it's on here. I think, yeah, SALM was one I was interested in. I'm not sure what the float is here, though. I haven't really checked. Let's find out. It's 11 mil, so a little bit on the lower side. So this could be one that's looking to run a little bit. There's some pretty good resistance up there, a little over 6. So, yeah, that would be a pretty good move. Actually, some resistance before that. I'd say like around this $380, $4 range. Some pretty good resistance. Some pretty good spots to try to hold this thing down all the way up here. 380, 450, 5. Those seem to be the pretty major spots. If it gets through there, this thing could make some kind of a crazy run. But other than that, not too much going on. Marketing, what's up? Hopefully everybody's having a good morning. If you guys notice, I did change my hot buttons a little bit. I didn't really change them. I made them instead of having the piece of paper. So this piece of paper that I was using, I just made it hot buttons so I don't have to look at the piece of paper. It'd just be easy to have them on the montage. They're not really taking up any space. You'll also notice that I changed the risk on the UK strat if we do want to take that. And I also upped my shares quite a bit. So you might see a little difference in the P&L today. I'll just leave it at that. It's not anything crazy. It's not like we're going from trying to make $50 to $500, but did up it a little bit. Thomas, what's up? Ron, how you doing? I did reset the chat there, so hopefully I saw marketing, and then the next one I saw was Ron, so hopefully I didn't miss anybody in there. We got about 2 minutes here until the bell. Everybody kind of get your inner risk management, inner consistency flow going, and we'll see what the market gives us here this morning. It's Thursday. Thursday is actually one of my better trading days, and then it leads right into Friday, which is typically not one of my better trading days. So hopefully today we get some good opportunity. The SPY is kind of gapping. I mean, it is gapping up, but it kind of hit a high there, and it's slowing down a little bit. So we'll see. This might be a little bit of a choppy type day for the SPY. It's kind of in a range here. Got a pretty key area in the 310s, and then obviously you got some pretty good resistance around the 317. So we'll see if it wants to stay in that range today, or if it wants to break out one way or the other. Wait, today's Wednesday? Oh shit. You're right, it is. Yeah. Okay, well, Wednesday is typically a pretty good day, too. Wednesday and Thursday are my two best days when you look at the stats. Waiting for CMEG to approve me. What kind of fees do they charge per trade? I can't find a definitive answer. If you want to ask me that when things calm down, I could show you exactly what they charge. But if you're using my code, it's the $2.95 per ticket, and then I want to say it's like 20-ish cents when you're using the share size that I am per like overall trade, like for all the ECNs and all that other stuff. Well, I think the ECN's included in the $2.95. I think maybe not. No, I don't think it is. I haven't looked at that stuff in a while. I try not to let commissions and fees really dictate my trading too much. Yeah, Ron, I got you. Thomas. There's the bell. Good luck, everybody. Let's get it. I'm not going to lie. The wife is usually always complaining it's a little chilly in here, and it actually is a little chilly this morning. But yeah, it's not too much. I think it does depend on the share size you're using, Ron, but it's nothing crazy. I would say the bulk of it is the 295 ticket. Everything over that, I want to say I've never paid more than like $350 a ticket with all the other fees. If that, I mean, but then again, I can't even say it's that much, but I'm just guessing that it was never more than that. It's probably lower, if anything. I'm probably overestimating. Excuse me. LEN, this would be pretty interesting up through that yesterday's highs. CLSN. LEN didn't do what we wanted there. CLSN, this hourly chart looks pretty extended here. I'd like to see a pop though, up through 550. Looks to be where that resistance is. Yep, right at 550. VBIV, not too much going there. Let's see what the SPY's doing real quick. Yeah, you can kind of tell just by looking at the scanners what the SPY's doing, which is kind of dumping here a little bit at the bell. CLIR making a really nice move. We don't have shares on it though. Just to give you guys a quick little peek. I mean, this is pretty standard what we look for. We'd like a move up towards 4. But that would be pretty sweet. Look, previous resistance, extension through. There it is, headed up towards 4. Man, that would be a beautiful entry. LOW. Man, that thing's super extended. Pretty pricey though. CLSN not doing what we want. Yeah, I was actually looking at it. For some reason, it says I have 2 trades left on IB. I was actually going to call them today when things close down. BYND actually making a pretty nice move. Let's go back to the main chart here. Spread on this thing is crazy. Got up to 161. It's already back down under 160. Yeah, definitely could have been a play there. Oh, man, it's not done just yet. Just trying high of day. Jeez. This thing moves pretty quick. Yeah, I have NVAX up actually. It's on my bottom chart. I don't see myself playing BYND. Not a fan of how spready. I mean, that thing is moving points at a time. I don't really want to mess with that at the current moment. NVAX right at that double top. Volume isn't great on this one. Do like the chart though. So you need to make at least a couple dollars to make the trade profitable in CMEG. I guess I wouldn't stress it so much if I wasn't worried about PDT or 2 days for my cash account to return. Yeah, that sounds about right. Spread on NVAX isn't that great here. See if we can get a... Ooh, man, look at that. 70-cent spread immediately. So hard to play those. Gonna keep an eye on it, see if it does want to go higher. That spread, it's hard to play. Yeah, 70. Yeah, 70-cent spread. I mean, like right after it hit the high there. And the problem is the bid comes down, but the ask doesn't. So you can't even cover out because the ask never moved. People were hitting that bid to either get short or sell their shares, but then the ask just doesn't move. And that's how that spread forms, and it's really hard to play. Watching YY as well. That thing's pretty extended. Not on a lot of volume though. This NVAX is kind of just chilling up here. YY, the volume is just not there. Spread's actually pretty bad there as well. It is an $84 stock at the moment. CHGG. I think we're going to leave NVAX alone here. Spread here isn't too bad, at least at first glance. SPY's getting crushed, and these are all headed to the moon. I was trying to see if we could get a new high here, maybe up towards 64. Yeah, MVAX took a dump. Just trying. See if we can get a push up through 64. Kind of struggling here. Sure feels like at 164 though. Maybe not. That CLIR, that did pull all the way back to that previous resistance. That would have been a really nice trade. That's the one I wish we could have traded this morning so far, but we didn't have shares. Now the SPY inverses are starting to pop up on the scanner. SPY is just dropping. Somebody get the money printer out. For start, you need a bank account because I'm not from States or Europe. You need a way to wire funds. I don't know if you actually need a bank account though. because to get the money into your CMEG account, you wire the funds. I want to see what this would do through 64. It's kind of consolidating here. SPY is just down, down, down. Carve, C-A-R-V. Yeesh. That thing was at like $2. What the heck? What's going on there? This thing can't make up its mind. It's probably going to consolidate here in this little area. If it goes through 64, I'm interested. I would like to see the extension through it. Keeps getting shoved down, but at the same time, keeps getting bought right back up. That's why I said we're probably going to consolidate here. Not really seeing anything else at the current moment. It's kind of why we're just sitting here watching this consolidate. Still scrolling through charts, looking though. CLSN actually working its way up to that 550 area. Be curious to see what it does if it goes through. Same here with CHGG. Seeing what it does through 64. Just can't seem to get there. Keeps getting rejected. Need to add another button here. Reverse at high of day. Reverse position. Feel like every time I exit a position, here goes CLSN. Let's switch these charts. Oops. See if this can't pop through 550 here. Be looking for an extension up through. We know this is capable of, looks like some 40 cent moves. So we'd like to see a nice push at least up towards 580. CHGG trying to go high a day. It's headed back up towards 64. It's kind of chilling there. It's at 550. See what kind of pop through we get, if any. There it is. There's the pop through. It's looking for a little bit more of a pop than that. not quite the pop we were looking for. CHGG did get through 64. Wasn't watching it. It did come right back down through though. Pretty much exactly what CLSN did here. Still watching it. Really not much else to watch anyway. Ideally, this didn't really get too much of a pullback through that 550 area. So if this wants to continue and still make that run, we're still interested. Doesn't seem to be working here. Well, if it comes back up on the scanner, we'll bring it back up. VBLT, range on this isn't that great. Pretty good move though. AMRN. Yeah. Not a chart I would probably be too interested in, but yeah, that was a pretty good drop there. YY popping back up. That had a pretty nice drop. We were looking for that resistance. It was used as resistance. We were looking for that to pop through. It never quite got there. OSTK. Just curious what the SPY's doing here. Oh, it's rebounding. CLDX, we don't have shares here. Making a little move here on like no volume. Keep an eye here on CLSN. Looks like it had a pretty big pop down there. Got bought right up though. Oops, guess I can get rid of this. I hate when it does that. No. Wonder if there's a way to fix that. Hey, look at that. It worked. So I always wondered why it does that, and I just realized that it's usually after I'm done messing with the trend line. So it got down to 535. Paper cut on CHGG. Obviously that probably came back up. Oh. Guess you maybe started that a little early. I really wanted to see that pop through 64. We didn't quite get it. Made a nice pullback here after the consolidation. If I was watching this for 64, it could have been a possible UK type strat, right? Because that's exactly what it is. Poke through high of day and then come back down into the range. That's exactly what it did. OSTK making a nice move up to yesterday's resistance. Yesterday's high. Don't have shares here. Kind of wish I did if it does poke through. Some pretty good resistance up here at 24. 24. You played it to 64? How'd you end up with a paper cut then? Oh, you were in here and then you got stuck, so you top ticked it? Is that what you're saying? That kind of sucks. So the different colors on level 2, sorry about that, Thomas, that kind of sucks. The different colors here on level 2, that's just the current bid and current ask. And then if you look down, the next possible bid and the next possible ask, they're green, and then it just keeps going. So it's just the different colors, that's all it is. It's just showing you how many are on the current bid and current ask and how many are behind it. So sometimes you'll see like one side full of yellow and the other one only has like one like this. It does right here. But this whole side. So for people that are reading level 2, they can see that buyers are piling in and there's really not that many people selling. So obviously it would look bullish. That's the census anyway. CLDX, we don't have anything there. MIK. If that didn't answer your question, Ron, let me know and I can try to explain a little bit better, but I think that was pretty clear. Can you explain your risk management again? Basically, you just have a strategy that has risk management built into it and don't break it. Don't break that rule. Always have a max loss in place as well. Max losses are very important, whether it's per trade or per day. You should always have a max loss in place. So like right now I upped my shares and my max loss per trade, as you can see, is 200. So on the day, I would probably put my max loss on the day at 300. Obviously you never want to hit that, but the whole point of that being there is to protect your account. But you should have risk management built in to your strategy. Like for instance, Thomas, and if I would have taken the same trade, say we got in on this move up, say our entry was sitting here around like 63.75 and it started to consolidate here and we couldn't get the drop and then it went high of day, just like that. Well, your risk management is to get out for that pop through 64 because the odds are if it consolidated here and wants to go through 64, it's most likely going to continue. Unfortunately for Thomas, because he was in this trade, it did not. It actually backfired a little bit. He ended up top ticking it. That's going to happen. But if this were to continue up to 66, he'd look like a genius, right? Which it does happen a lot. You'd be surprised. So that's the risk management that's built into the strategy, is to get out when the trade is no longer good to you. But your overall risk management, you should have a max loss per day. Make sure you never break that. My first take profit, I'm taking 75% of my position on my first take profits. There's no set amount that I'm looking for. I'm usually trying to feel the bottom of a move. And usually like on a move like this, we'd be waiting. And then once you kind of start to feel it come back up, or if there's like a key area like VWAP, something like that, that's usually where I'll take my 75% because the odds are you're going to get some kind of a bounce and you don't always get sloppy seconds like this. Sometimes it'll go back to high of day. So getting that 75% out, it kind of guarantees you a good trade.
You told them about their lunch, right?
Yes. I mean, whether they listen or not is a different story. They haven't really been doing that lately. Picks on Discord. Let's take a look. Yeah, that's rough, Thomas. I've been there. You know that. Oh, at least you got a cover in, though. That's why it was a paper cut, so that makes sense. Man, CHGG really rubbing it in your face, though. That was a pretty good explanation. Would you say that if you're watching level 2, you're looking to see a lot of yellow on the left and no yellow on the right to get in? Going long, obviously. That would be the theory. I mean, reading level 2, I don't really use level 2 to trade. The only reason I look at it is I'm really just looking at what the current bid and ask are, really mainly just to see the spread. On some brokers, they give you the option to not pay for level 2 and just pay for level 1. And honestly, that's all I would need is level 1. So as you can see up here, level 1, it's giving you the same information. It's just telling you what the bid and the ask are. And really, that's all I need. Level 2 to me is kind of a game of liar's poker where people can flash bids and all that good stuff. But there are times where you'll see big bids or big asks or big offers come out and they'll stack up on one side. And that's usually a good indication that the stock is going to move the opposite direction. So if you get huge 10,000 share orders on the bid and you start to see multiples of them popping up on different exchanges, the odds are that thing's going to move up. Same goes if you see the big 10,000 share orders popping up on the ask, the odds are it's going to move down. Now, it could just be temporarily. There could be a big whale waiting for those orders to pop up so that he can get the liquidity and make it go the other way. So, I mean, that's the thing with level 2. It's sure you're kind of reading it, but at the same time, there's no science behind it. Come on. I just want a couple good trades. Being patient. How do I get as good looking as you? Well, it's a good question. The wife laughed, I guess. I guess she doesn't agree with you. Man, and I have noise canceling headphones on, so she must have been laughing pretty loud.
Actually, I didn't. It was a little giggle.
I know. I actually have it. It's on like medium right now. I was getting tired of you yelling at me for not listening to you.
Good.
I don't know, Kev. I guess first it's you gotta grow. You gotta grow this out. And second, it's the hat. So that's it. I would say those are the two key factors. Yeah, Ron, that's actually one of the main reasons that I like doing these live streams is because when you go looking for videos, you can't just stop the video and ask that person to kind of explain what they almost explained. And that's why you'll always hear me after I explain something ask if I explained it well enough for you. Because if I didn't, I'll try to find a different way to explain it. Because there's always that light bulb moment that people can get. It's just a matter of hitting the right words sometimes. So I'm glad that it worked for you. How did your wife end up so lucky with you? Yeah. It's kind of a crap day, guys. Even like everything in the ISW room isn't really popping off like usually. Vincenzo, how do you get a hot wife? I don't know. I'm still wondering.
Hey, fuck you.
All right.
I appreciate that, Ron. Pair character punching the air with fist and bump written on his knuckles. Oh, is that the is that what popped up on the screen on the animation? I don't even know if I can see that on my chat. It just spells it out. I'm curious. Come on. Oh, yep, that is. That's funny. I appreciate that, Ron. Thanks for the support. Duck? Duck what? Yeah, here, I can show you. So since I'm on Twitch and YouTube, I have a chat that shows me both. So when that came up, it says pair character punching the air with fist and bump written on his knuckles. I was like, wait a minute. Hey, Shin, it has not been in Monday or Tuesday. I'll give you that hint. And I'll also give you a hint that it may have a high chance, high probability of being in today's video. That was the plan anyway. And if we don't have any trades, I actually have a really good idea for it. And since there's only like 17, 18 of you here, I don't mind giving you guys the heads up. It's kind of my way of saying thank you for tuning in for the live stream. ENPH. Oh, that was one going the opposite direction. I'm taking a look at some of the trades that haven't been working too well this morning. Groupon as well. Yeah, I mean, and this is why I am not a huge fan of longs. They just don't seem to get... I mean, this happens to shorts too, but you'll tend to notice that these longs, when they start to sell off, they just don't really get a big bounce sometimes. And if they do, it usually takes a lot longer. I mean, it finally looks like they found a bottom here. Looks to be consolidating a little bit more than usual. Yeah, PogChamp. Love the PogChamp. Speaking of that, Shin obviously hit the join button. Hence he has the cool little money next to his name. And he has the cool emojis. Someone else signed up. And now the name's blanking. Give me a sec. I wanted to give them a shout out. I'll probably do that in the video today. Might even try to make like an educational video, since if we don't end up with any trades. I'm still being patient here. It's only 10 o'clock. But I'm waiting for my setup here. It was Tony B. So if you're here, Tony B, I appreciate that. It was actually 3 days ago, but I guess it wasn't during the live stream, so I didn't even notice it. I don't really go in there and stalk my analytics too much, so I just happened to see that last night when I was going through. No short IQ. I didn't even see IQ pop up. Did I miss it? Or are you just curious? IQ has 4 million shares available on Interactive Brokers. This is not really something I'd be interested in, though. Yeah, everything's not looking too good. Let's check the SPY real quick. Yep. It tried to bounce, but Nada hit VWAP and said, "Yep." It's not making good trades. And the worst part is, you would think that with this kind of movement, I should have hit remove all lines. Hold on one sec. You would think with this kind of movement that we'd be getting some good moves to the downside, right? Off the minus I3 scan, but everything on the minus I3 scan isn't really working either, because it's kind of moving with the SPY. And so if the SPY never really bounces, then that stuff's never going to really bounce. How much are you needing your account to short on CMEG? Technically, you only need over 500 so that you can have margin. I believe anything under 500, you're considered a cash account with them, and they wouldn't let you short. Watch a Momo here. We're going to play Momo. Got 41 for a start. Don't usually play double tops, but it's a pretty big move. Almost can say previous resistance all the way down here at 19. If it does want to pop through 50, we'd obviously be looking to add. Gonna get the ad there at 62. Yeesh. Our average is at 51. Wait, really? Jeez. Guess that's about right. Just put an order out there just in case we get some kind of a random flush. Here we go, coming back down. Looking for this to get back through 50. Keep my finger on the button just in case we don't get right down to where we are if we feel a bottom here. There we are at 50. See if we can get through. See if we can get the push down. Bounced right at 50 there. Trying again. Thing's shooting right back up the high day. That's not good. Probably should have took some off there. We're going to get our ad there. And we'll get one last ad here to finish it off. It's going to be right there. And we're going to put our stop at high day. So either we get the breakdown here or have a pretty decent loss. I don't think it'll be a max loss, but it'll be pretty close. Average is at 61. Not looking good. So we can get a flush down here through 70. Coming down, see if we can get down towards 50. Let's get through the 60s here. There we go. Oh. All right, we'll take 75% off there. See if we can't get this to break down a little bit more. Put the stop on the rest of the hive day. Kind of felt like the bottom there. That was kind of why I tried to hit it before that, but I had already had an order out there. That's why I didn't accept it. I would have had to cancel that order first. It actually ended up working out for us. We got I think a couple cents more. Yeah, we got 2 cents more than we would have got. So now we're going to see if this thing can break down, go back down through 1950. Now, guys, look at this trade, right? If we would have waited for that pop through the double top, every time it gets me. It put us in a really tough spot there. Thankfully, it worked out this time. But, I mean, it could have been bad, right? All we had to do is wait for this previous resistance and extension through. And look how good this trade would have looked if our entries were up here to start. But we started it kind of early. But it was a really good extension, and I'm trying to get away from being afraid of those, but I need to start not being afraid of those. But at the same time, you can see what kind of positions they can put you in. See if we can get down through 50. Put these shares out here at 42. I'll put them at 40, 46. I'm gonna be too greedy here. Just seeing if we can get that 50 breakdown. Right, pop through that previous resistance of 50. See if people want to eat that liquidity up. We'll actually put it up at 40. Didn't let me do that. Put it at 48. I'm sorry, Terminex just showed up and I missed what you said. Account needed to short on CMEG. I believe it's 500 plus. 500 plus is where you'd be looking to get margin. We're coming down to 50 here. And yes, Marco, I was just getting ready to say I use CMEG. I'm using the DOS platform via the CMEG broker. Really looking for this to at least test 50. Looking for the little pop through. Looking for them to eat the liquidity up. Yeah, even though you only need 500, Ron, I don't recommend anything less than 3,000. I say 2,500 is minimum, but I recommend 3,000. Because if you only use 500, the platform fees are 125. That's over 20% of your account, just paying platform fees. All right, we're going to give this one more try. Then we're going to look to take off 60% if it tries to move higher again. There we go. 50. Let's get that pop through 50 here. There we go. We're on the bid. All right, we got our fill there at 48. So now we're down to 10% of our position. See if this can hold under 1950 now and move down there towards VWAP. And we'll see how long we can kind of ride these last remaining shares out. Cancel this. It was really struggling at this 1960 area. Our average is sitting at 61, so I think we'll put a stop at break even for the rest here. Yeah, it's 125 a month currently. That's including the market data and everything else. So you get the market data, you get the platform, all that good stuff. Level 2, obviously everything. But yeah, 125 it's a little hefty, but at the same time, it's the price you pay, right? I always say that an offshore broker is a necessary evil for anyone that's looking to avoid the PDT rule. And that's just the case. If you don't have $25,000 laying around to open up a U.S. broker account, then you're kind of stuck with it. Yeah, there are fees if you do try to locate. I don't ever locate. If you see the S here, if you see the S, it means it's easy to borrow. So you'll see that it's pretty infinite shares. So I only trade shares that have that. I think final take profit here, we'd be pretty happy, but I'm going to see if we can ride this thing out. See how low we can get this to go. And then keep my order there at 61, which is break even, but we want this to get under 1950 and hold. And then our next target area would be that VWAP area. But But yeah, if you do locate shorts for some reason, it's $25 to locate the shares. It got bought back up over 50 again. So we might get a little squeeze here if it continues to keep holding 50, just from people covering out their shorts. But if we can get back through 50 and we start to get the buyers a little worried and they start to sell off, might get a nice pop down here. Might actually just look to, let's put half of this out just in case. I'm going to clear that. So I'll put once VWAP's at 31-ish area. Let's put these at 35. See if we get some kind of a random sell-off. And then we can like really let the last part of this go down. Or try to go down towards that 19 area. $43, here we go, getting a little sell-off. See if we can get down into the 30s here. 40, 42, 41, 40. See if we can get down to the 30s. 39. 30, I saw 38 there. Say VWAP's a little bit further down. I'd like to try to get 35. Kind of getting bought back up towards 50 here. That thing got bought all the way back up. Look at that bottom tail. All right, we're just going to take it off there, 1951. The reason I did that, at this, just that bottom tail, that's a very bullish looking. Like, we're not going to go lower. Of course, it'll prove me wrong, but I'll be pretty happy with the trade overall. I can't complain. Yeah, look at it go. You got to be kidding me. I tried to give it a second there at 50 to see if that's what it wanted to do, if it wanted to reject it again, but that was very bullish how it tried to get down all the way to 37 and got bought all the way back up to 50. It was a pretty, usually that's very bullish looking, which it still is, but it does seem like the sellers are still stepping in. So pretty good trade there. The reason I have 4 entries, I split my 2 into 2. So I did a 1-1-1-1 technically, but really it's just a 1-1-2, because I didn't want to be too early on my 2 there, especially with that extension. Man, you gotta be kidding me. I was a little impatient there. Should have just stayed where I was. Would have got our fill right there at 35. It's all right. It's all right. Move on. Still a good trade. It did deke me there a little bit. No, we did not. Zishan, we haven't really even been breaking the 25 mark on the Friday night live streams. That's kind of why I went back to 9 o'clock, because it's more convenient for me. So, sorry, let me catch up on the chat here. Does CMEG waive the DOS fees like Lightspeed based on trade activity? They do, Shin. If you have $650 in commissions on the month, they will waive your platform fee. So it's not like Lightspeed. I believe Lightspeed it counts it down dollar per dollar, and that's not the case with CMEG. They make you earn a little bit more in commissions versus what the platform fee actually is. And it's not like up to that amount. Either you hit 650 or not. You could have 649 and you would still pay the 125. So if you see a good play to short, you won't trade. That sucks, but also helps to not be greedy. So that's a plus. Well, Zishan, that's why I opened up the Interactive Brokers account in hopes that if I don't have the shares available on CMEG, that I can try to jump over there on Interactive Brokers and see if they have them. I've also got a TradeStation cash account. Pretty sure it's free. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right, because I know Tom from the Discord also uses them. Problem is, if I want to get any amount of shares, I can only do it once, and then have to wait 2 days to use the money again. Yeah, That is the problem with the cash account. And yeah, no, Zishan, we did not break it. Little bum there on being a little impatient on Momo. Definitely would be looking pretty solid here with the remaining shares. Would be looking for that 19 area for the rest, but that's okay. It's good. It's good to have that, right? Because now I'll remember, be like, stop being impatient. Stop being impatient, right? That's one of my huge issues. It took a lot of patience to do what I did on the first two exits. And then I guess I was just so impatient knowing that, I just didn't want to give back anything that I had already gained. So that's where the impatience came in, when in reality, if I would have just been a little bit more patient, look, it was literally like 10 seconds later. It definitely helped us out, or would have helped us out. That's what I refer. Apparently the SPY made a big spike while we were doing, to the downside. Ouchie. Guy on Twitch says, want to be famous? Buy followers, primes, and viewers on adviewers.com. Well, guess what? No. I don't really care if I'm famous or not. More here just to trade. This is to document my journey and try to help others as much as possible. Pretty nice move out of VNet there. No volume, though. Let's check out Thomas's trade here. First trade looks like could have been a paper cut. I don't know. How much are you covering on that first amount? Are you covering like 50%, 75%? The second trade, though, money. Love it. We kind of had the same idea for that last cover, it looks like. Is it supposed to rain today?
Yes.
When?
I don't know.
50%? Yeah, so that could be...
3 p.m. thunderstorms.
Okay. So it could have been kind of break even. But I like that second trade. The second trade was money. Ooh, look at VNet. Making a little move here on not that much volume. Gotcha. I was telling the wife yesterday, I'm so close I can feel it. It's so funny. I was literally saying that to my wife yesterday too. But that's also why we decided to up the share size a little bit today. Just want to check something here. High of day was 83. Alrighty. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, light bulb moments? I know we had one light bulb moment earlier for Ron. Always glad to hand those out. Those are the best ones. I still have light bulb moments all the time. Not all the time, but like when I still get them fairly frequently. And when I do, it's such an amazing feeling. Doggo. The doggy is snoring away. Alrighty. Still looking for something else. Not really getting anything popping up at the moment. You get high on light bulb moments. Yeah, I know the feeling. That's why I love to learn too. I always feel like there's more to learn, especially in this game. I feel like you could be in this game for 20 years and there's still stuff to learn. There's always something to learn. There's so much stuff that we have no idea what's going on. Jeez. That carve chart B. What's the other one that you were in, Brian? Oh yeah, CLSN. Oh, you're playing the big, I got you. That's why I was curious. I didn't see that chart. Oh wow, that thing's actually grinding away. But yeah, I know I can see what you're looking at there on the daily. Brian has balls of steel. Dude looks at the big picture plays sometimes, and they tend to work out pretty well. If we go full screen here, you can see the daily, even the hourly here. Just look how extended it looks. You scroll in on the daily a little bit here, you can see just how extended it is. It's actually at a pretty key resistance area on the daily at $6 here. Back when it made this last push, that looks very similar. And then look at what it did right after. Let's go back and look at it real quick. Made a nice pullback all the way to $3 after it touched 6 and before it tried again. It'll be interesting to see what it does if it gets through that area. Let's see exactly where it got to. See if the trend line thing works here. Oops, trend line. Alright, so it got the 606. I went right through it. Barely through it. Ooh, that's right. Knowledge is power. Looks like things are starting to rebound. Yeah, it tends to be what happens. You get the early morning craziness for the first hour, hour and a half, and then things start to kind of level off and do what they want to do for the rest of the day. ERI, this thing's had some pretty constant volume. The 47.51 area, there's some pretty good resistance up there. Look at this big old drop, the whole point. See what this wants to do if it gets through 43.50. These guys. Let me give them the old picture that I love to give them. Let's see if we can get a push up through 43.50 here. I'd be pretty interested. Up to 50. Love to see it go right up to 44. Every time I feel I know what I'm talking about, I give all my tendies back to the market. Good old Wall Street Bets, fellow Redditor. Good old Wall Street Bets. I like going in there to amuse myself. Some of those guys hit the jackpot, though, I'll tell you that. They'll throw out some crazy option calls or puts and get back like 5,000%. It's ridiculous. What's the float here on MLND? A little bit lower. Range on it isn't crazy though. So this isn't doing exactly what we wanted it to do here through 50. It kind of stalled, poked through, got to 43.60. The odds are you'll get a pullback to at least this 43.20 area. There it goes. That's kind of what this thing's been doing all day if you look at it. Breaking previous resistance, coming down. Previous resistance here, comes down, touches it, comes up through, actually comes down, tests that same area again, pre-market. Comes up through, comes down, actually tries to test it one more time. But if you really look at it, it got bought right back up. Tried again, then really tested that previous resistance there. Moves higher. Now you have this previous resistance from yesterday. Goes through. Actually had a huge dip down, but then got bought right back up. So it's kind of the story of the day. It hasn't been perfect, but it's been pretty close to where this thing keeps going through and testing previous resistance before moving higher. It is pretty extended overall. You got VWAP all the way down here, but not really something I'm interested in. If that wanted to shoot up towards 44, definitely would have been interested. But just that small little extension through, not really too interested there. Where else am I chatting? I'm chatting on Discord. What the beeps that you're hearing, that's the ISW chat. That's the scanners. We have a team chat where we pretty much alert all the trades, as well as we just have like a lounge that we talk in. So we have two separate rooms there. One's to kind of talk about our trades and mess around, and then there's one room that's just for trade alerts, just to let everybody know what we're trading. That's like sometimes you'll see me, I brought up MLND on my bottom chart because Brian had said that he had it up. So sometimes I actually turn the sound off on my scanners because you guys could hear that. Like you can hear all the beeping from the chat. But if when the scanners are going off constantly, when I go to edit my videos, it's horrible. It's like all you hear. And I could turn it down, which I probably should do anyway because I don't need it to be that loud. But the scanners just go absolutely nuts. Like all the time. Not all the time, but like right now they're not. But things have started to slow down. I had the chat turned down for a while. I don't even know how it got up so high again. Probably when Discord is a chat program. Just go down in the description and click the Discord link. You can you can have it browser based. You can download a client, but you can do it browser based as well. And I think you just make an account, and it should take you into the server. And see, it's exactly what it did here. Went through previous resistance, came down, touched it, used it as support, and now it's moving higher. Granted, this thing is getting pretty extended, but now we have a new resistance here for it to work off of at 60. Geez, look at NVAX. Things exploding. This feels a little grindy. I remember what this is. See if this wants to go through 57. Not quite. Look at that spread. Ugh. I hate seeing 40-cent spreads. It's like a pet peeve of mine. If the move from support was 100, what move you looking forward? 150? I'm confused at what you're asking, marketing. And yeah, Shin, those YOLO bets, man, they're pretty crazy to watch. Seeing some of them screenshots. Seeing what it wants to do through 57 here, if it gets there. Struggling here at 57. But what that means is if it does get through 57, the thing could pop. This has a lot of room to the downside. Look at that spread, man. 20, 30 cent spread. It was 40 at some times. I think I'm just going to leave this one alone. It's getting a little later in the day. It's kind of grinding sideways here a little bit. This thing has some big move potential, though. This thing could easily drop down below 56. I mean, VWAP's all the way down here. Previous resistance all the way down here at 54.50 area. There it goes. This is what the chart should look like. Just a little scared by the spread there, and it's a little later in the morning. It's a good move, though. Does CMEG have a good short list for small cap stocks? No, they do not. I mean, that's the simple answer. They do have one every once in a while, but I don't really play small caps, but I know every time I check one, they pretty much never have the shares available. There it is, nice little drop there. I thought about taking the shares and just risking off Hive Day, giving it a short leash at 57 because it was struggling there. But I'm not going to be mad that I didn't take that trade, guys. Like I said, I gave you the reasons why I didn't. But, I mean, this is what a chart should look like, right? You finally find a top, and then you get the pullback. It moves in waves. How big those waves are, it's up to the market. It's really not up to us. If this wave wanted to be a tidal wave, it could have went up to 59 before any kind of a pullback. Like, we don't know that this is what's going to happen. F1 Trade has a good short list, but the company is a little sketchy. Well, I'm pretty sure if TradeNet just got kind of told that they're not allowing U.S. members anymore, assuming that had something to do with the SEC kind of stepping in. F1 Trade is openly saying they trade CFDs as well. So I'm assuming they're not going to be very far behind with getting told that they can't have U.S. customers. So if you're based in the U.S., F1 Trade probably won't be available to you in the near future. I mean, whether that's next month or a year from now, I don't know, but I would assume that they're just a smaller fish to fry. TradeNet was the bigger one that were trading CFDs, so I guess they had to cut them off first. And you might have a lot of the TradeNet customers going to somewhere like F1 Trade because of it. So they probably will end up being next. Marketing, if you still want to re-ask your question, I'm not quite sure what we were talking about in the moment. I don't remember. Have you had issues withdrawing large amounts? Well, the largest amount I withdrew was, I think, 3,500. And no, I haven't had any issues. The move? So you're talking like $1? Is that what the 100 is? Like $1.50? But no, yeah, Alex, I haven't had any issues with that. And I actually made a video of me doing the first withdrawal from them for $1,000 and documented that journey. I think it was 7 days, or maybe it was 8 days. I don't remember exactly. But then that next withdrawal, it only took, I think it was 3.5, 4 days, depending on the time zone. Just got on Discord, Ekamran. What's up, man? Welcome to the Discord. Yeah, you'll see the channel under trading on the left side called General Hangout. That's usually where we kind of post our charts and talk there. That's not the ISW chat, but this is just my personal Discord. I just saw it, Thomas. So if the move 100 cents, you expect it to move another 100 or 50. most times the 50. If I'm getting in, I'm usually, like I said, let's pull Momo up here. So when I first got into this, if it did go through, if you take a look at the move here, 1880 to 1950, that's 70 cents. So in theory, you would think, okay, we probably got another 30, 35, 40 cents or so. And that's exactly what it gave us. That's why we started to space our ads accordingly. So basically, I look at the full length of the move from when we get in. And if it wants to continue, I tend to look for about half of that initial move. Because it's kind of like, say you're getting on a ladder and you're trying to get up to the ceiling and you thought it was an 8-foot ceiling, or how about in this scenario? Yeah, we'll say like a 7.5-foot ceiling, even though those don't exist, but it was actually a 10-foot ceiling. So you get up there and you go to reach for it and you're like, oh wait, that's up higher. So if you have to climb a little bit higher to hit that ceiling, then so be it. You were a little bit early, your judgment was off, and that's the power of scaling. Right? That's why we would scale into a trade, looking for just being a little bit early. And we knew when we took that first entry that we were right at that previous resistance from yesterday. So that was the risk we were taking by taking that trade. But this was a really good move already. So we were looking for that to act as resistance. But as you can tell, it wanted to punish me, saying this is why you don't play double tops. And sure enough, it did. But it ultimately worked out. So yep, the half move. Hertz is going to the moon again. And by the way, this ERI, just to show you guys, I had it on my bottom chart. I was kind of watching it with all these key areas that we had drawn. And again, it went through on this candle. It came back, tested that new resistance, used it as support, and now it's still going higher. This thing's a little crazy. If you remember, through this, when we were watching it back here, we wanted this breakthrough to go up to 44. So look how long it took to actually get to where we wanted it to go in one candle. So that's why we're not really interested in this. NVAX, that ended up kind of just doing its own thing. HCZ, that's one we wanted to check. I don't get it. I just don't get this. They had to release some kind of statement for it to make this kind of move, though, because that's a lot of volume just randomly coming in here. Doesn't really make too much sense. Sorry, I'm just kind of catching up on the ISW chat real quick. I'm going to get out of here pretty soon, though. I'm going to wait till 11 o'clock. So we got 6 minutes or so. If you guys have any additional questions, feel free to chime in. If not, keep a lookout for the video today. The gift card will be in it. So be on the lookout. It'll probably be a shorter video. I only had the one trade. So won't be too much to watch through. And make sure you give the video a like as well for next week's gift card. So I'm assuming I made it a lot easier to find. I realized when I hit it that first time, it was pretty hard. So I probably won't be doing that again. I'll just make it easy to find. It's just where in the video. Who knows? Could be the beginning, could be the end, could be the middle. I was pretty creative putting it at the end. It took a while for someone to find it in last week's video. So you guys at least get the information that it's going to be in today's video. You don't have to be randomly wondering if it is or not. And yeah, so the likes from this week will go into the gift card for next week. And so far, we're actually on pace for a pretty hefty gift card. I think we're averaging 20 likes per video. So if we can get that 100 likes, that's a $25 gift card, because each like corresponds to 25 cents. And just to show you guys real quick, I had said it yesterday. I had already bought the gift card. I can show you guys. I don't know what other orders you might see in here that we get. Oh, well, it's just the 2 gift cards. We bought a gift card for my cousin's birthday party coming up. Well, you won't even see that one. But there it is. Amazon gift card, $12.50, and the status is still sent. So that turns to received when somebody finds it. So I usually keep it up after I post the video to see how fast somebody found it, just because I like to see. I think it's pretty cool. But here I can show you the one from last week. So the one from last week, there it is, $10, and it is status received. I wish it told me the time though. I mean, I guess I don't really need to know the time, but it would be cool to know like when somebody found it, just so I could see how long after the video came out, because I'm not sitting here like hitting refresh over and over again. This HTZ just baffles me. Like, they're going out of business. Like, what are you guys doing? But that's what I'm saying. I wonder if they came out and said, okay, maybe we're not. Look at this volume. 300. That's 600,000 shares that just went through like it was nothing. But that's also, like I said, that's why you can't believe the level 2 too much, because look at all the shares popping up on the ask over here. Look at all these shares. But people they're paying it, right? They see this and they're just paying to go through. Look at it. Look at all these shares. That's over 100,000 easy. And they're just eating it away. There it goes. Now we're down to like 30, 20, 10. There we go. All the way through. Another 20. Gone. Up to 34, trying to find more shares. Look at that. 225,000 shares sitting there at 35. More than that now, because look at them stack in there at 35. Just getting eaten away. Look at that. Already down to 150, 100. Look at that. 30, 20, 10, gone. Just like that. Oh, it's getting held there. It actually held there at 35. Do you see that? They kept trying to get through those last little bit of shares, and they couldn't push through. Loosh. Look at that. Kaboom. See, I mean, that's where reading the level 2, like I said, when you get the big orders in there and you can see them visually getting taken out like that, that's one way that you can actually read the level 2. But if you're trying to read them on stocks that are just flying up and down, it's almost impossible. And when you get to key levels, you'll start to see people flash huge orders. But to flash a huge order here, you'd have to flash like 1 million shares. I don't know. That'd be pretty interesting to see 1 million shares. And I mean, we were a quarter of the way there. That's pretty crazy. But let's see. We got about a minute and a half here. Jerome Powell testifying in front of Congress might be something to keep an eye on. Yeah, I think I'm going to be done for today, so he can do whatever he wants. How do you calculate the quantity of the shares to enter the stock? That's a good question, because I did just change that recently. So as you can see, I put them in hot buttons now. And if you look over, if I zoom out on Hertz, it'll probably give us the 10 cents. Maybe not. So this is only 5 cents, which I don't have a button for, so I would just use the 10-cent one. But if you look at the scale over here, let's go back to Momo real quick. So Momo, when we hit it, it was at 10 cents. If you go back, I'm pretty sure that's the button I hit. Maybe not. No, I hit the 15-cent button. I was zoomed in a little, I think, or out. No, maybe I just didn't like the way that it was moving. Oh, I remember why, because we were playing the double top. That's why I went up one. Because I had said if we're early, I don't want to let it, get too crazy. So we went up one. So we went from 300 shares starter to 200 shares. But that's why we did it. But in reality, if it's just a normal move, like if we were above resistance and I really like the chart and we weren't at a double top, I would see that this is a 10-cent scale on the right side, and that's how I get the 10-cent button. Now, how do I get those shares that I put in this button? I will show you real quick. I believe we went over this on Friday night, but it doesn't hurt to show you guys again real quick. So I take my max loss, which right now is 200, and I divide it by that scale size. So 0.1 for 10 cents. So it gives us 2,000 shares. And what I went back and looked at all the positions where I got full size, and I figured this part out. This was a lot of back testing and figuring out how to get on a normal scale in to that 200 mark, with the scale being the first equation here. So what I came up with is if I take 60% of this total amount here, so times 0.6, that's the total amount of shares that we want to have by the time we get to the top in order to be around that $200 area. So that was a lot of testing on my part to figure that 0.6 part out. It's not just some technical standout equation that most people would use. So I take max loss divided by the scale amount, and then I times it by 60%, and then I just split this up in the 112. So the 2 part would be 600, and then divided by 2 again, so it would be 300, 300, 600, and 112. And that's how I get my share size. Let's go back to Hertz real quick, and then I'm going to get out of here. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I would say that's a little bit of a pump and dump. That was nuts. The 60%, like I said, it's just something I went back and tested. I went back to every single time that I actually got full size 112 like I did here on Momo. And if you take these same entries, and if I did the 200 divided by 10 cents, that 2,000 shares, if I did 500, 500, and then 1,000 here, I would have been over 200. If I would have stopped out at max loss, I can actually show you guys. I just did the math a little bit earlier, but our average was 1961. So the high of day was 1983. So 1983 minus 1961 gives us 22 cents. We would have put our stop 1 cent over that, so 23 cents. And then if you take the 800 shares we had, times it by 23 cents, that's $184. And like I said, I went back to like VRML. That was a more recent one as well, and it came out to like 195. But if we would have had 2,000 shares there instead of 800, and you times it by that same 23 cents, it's $460. Right? So that equation obviously wouldn't work. And the more and more I tested it, I went on to some charts where I had 2 entries and I looked at where a third entry would be and I did the math, and it all comes out right to around 200. So the 0.6 was just something that I figured out, and it works. There's no like scientific reason to how it became that. It's just that seems to be what works for the equation that I came up with. So that's all. What is 60%? Like on my montage, the hot button, or are you just saying what is the 60% in general? It's nothing. It's just the number that I found that works through backtesting. Yeah, it's not some special number. It's just the number that I found that comes out closest to where I want my max loss to be on any given trade. But all right, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go do my video real quick. I'm gonna go work out, do all that good stuff. If you do have any more questions, find me in the Discord, hit me up on Twitter, one or the other. I appreciate you guys all being here. Take a look for that gift card today, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Peace.